Hello, thank you so much for being here. This will be our final session. We'll be doing Auth0 authentication. I want to showcase and demonstrate to all of you how you can do Auth0. It's it's an amazing library, an amazing solution for developers that is available in the market. Um, and then we will deploy to Vercel. I'm super excited about that. The idea is that you see how you can easily deploy a project on Vercel, how it's not complicated at all, and basically Vercel do the build for you and solve a bunch of your problems as developer when you are deploying in a platform. And I think that's one of the reasons it's so popular. You will find people that say that they're creating like because you now don't have to solve so many problems at the moment of deploying a project, you kind of lose that knowledge. But I'm here for any solution that solves problems. Okay, so let's do a little review of what we are going to do today. We are going to implement Auth0. I want to talk a little about the pros and cons of having Auth0 in your project. I will show you how to set up the um, m variables that Auth0 asks for you. And that also will discuss the setup of m variables with Vercel at the moment of deploying a project. I will show you it's not Auth0 operations, that is actually a mistake of my side. It's the Auth0 decisions, because as a developer, you have to take a lot of decisions the moment that you want to implement Auth0. Uh, and something that people don't think about it, that you have the power of taking those decisions and you have to take those decisions. Like the solution will not take those decisions for you. Okay, so with that, let's talk about what are the problems that Auth0 are solving for you. So if you are not implemented Auth0 in a project, you need to handle yourself all the authentication. And that means handle the authentication manually. It means handling sessions, tokens, and cookies by yourself. And it's a lot of code and it's a lot of security risk, because you need to check for password storage, for cookies, for token leaks, and all that situation. You have to think about yourself if you don't want to implement Auth0. And of course, that is a lot of your time, basically, because you now have to handle the login, logout, sign in, sign up, um, sign off, all of that, and with the security lawyer on top of that. So it's a lot of work that Auth0 is taking for you. And in the other side of that coin, Auth0 is handling that for you. So they may secure the authentication and the authorization process, and they are really, really, really secure. Like they handle all the security problems for you. So that's time on your side. They are now supporting all the social logins. It means that you can configure your account to ask for Google, GitHub, Facebook, Twitter. I think they handle all of them with tools that are out of the box. So you don't need to, and we will see this, you don't need to handle a lot of code to install Auth0. And it's something that I cannot demonstrate you today in this little project, but it basically scales with you. So if your platform becomes huge and you need to have things like administrators and people with different levels of access and um, tokens and bunch of situations, it scales with you. They support all of that implementation. Um, so that's an amazing tool, and that's the reason it's so popular. Now, the thing is that when you are, so you make the decision, I want to have Auth0 in my project, which is great. But then you need to do a bunch of architecture decisions that the platform and the tool will not do for you. You, as a developer, need to take those decisions. The first one um, is something for the whole platform. Like um, you will ask, like you don't will have content for people that is not authenticate. That means that is completely in the server, right? Like it will authenticate people and then show them content. Versus you will have specific content for the user, even if it's in the client session, like show the profile of the user, and the user authenticate and can see their profile and change things on their profile. That's something that you see on, I don't know, let me think, Twitter or LinkedIn. You know, you can see your profile and change things on the profile, and it doesn't, it's not it's not completely dependent of if you are like you will not see your profile if you are not authenticate, that kind of situation. So you need to think about what information and what I will show to people that is authenticate versus what people will see when there is nothing, like they are not authentic. And that also move you to the next decision, that is, um, will you have gate page, like I don't know, a specific page that the user cannot see if they are not authenticate, versus the entire app. So you need to, it's called route protection, and it's basically what will be like bundled with the Auth0 um, tool. And then something that I can, these things I will demonstrate in this project, but something that I cannot um, demonstrate for you in this project is what if you need to have an administrator, like if this blog will grow and have people that edit and have permissions to see the content before it's published, that kind of situation. Um, Auth0 allowed you to handle these situations, but I will not demonstrate this way out of the scope of this project. And then you out of the box, the solution is that you don't handle the data of the user that authenticate at all. That's the default solution for Auth0. There are some cases that you want to have the data of the user, so you need to store that session in your database, and that is also architectural decision, and you can implement that with Auth0, but it's completely different implementation. Um, and it really depends of your project. Why? Because you need to ask the question why I need to store the data of the user. And there are cases where you need to do that. Um, so it's all these decisions need to be clear for you before you start writing code. Like you don't wait to to be writing code to have these conversations or these questions answered. Um, you answer these questions and then you write. Um, because the tool will allow you to do anything, like all of this. You can do it without zero, but you need to take the decision of what path do you want to take. And that's the power of the developer. We are the people that are taking these decisions. And okay, let's see code. Now we're in the part of the where we see code. Let me open the project. me open this on Visual Studio. Okay, here it is. So let me run the project. Remember you do npm run dev, and it's running in localhost. So let's see in localhost. Okay, so we were here. We have our blog running, and we have our form subscribe working, and this is connected to an Airtable solution to keep check of the people that subscribe. That was what we have previously on this code. What I want to do now is I want to implement Auth0 so only the people that is implemented, that is authenticated, will see the subscribe button. If you want to subscribe, you have to log in, and then you can send us an email or subscribe, and then you have the option of logout. So let's implement that. Those were my decisions around Auth0. So let's do this. The first thing that you need to do is going to the Auth0 platform. Let me give you the direction. This is this one. So you need to go to Auth0, the platform itself. Log in. I already have an account, so it's okay. I can log in on my account. And it will give you this dashboard. It will lead you to this dashboard. And the thing that you want to see here in this sidebar is where are your applications. So go to your applications. In my case, I have a bunch because I have a bunch of projects with Auth0, but you probably will have this this screen empty. But what you are gonna do is you are gonna create an application process, and we are a single web page. And let's call this my tech blog, and you create, and pretty much that's it. Now they will ask you what technology you are using. Let's React because we are using that one. The documentation is really, really good if you want to see how to configure it. If you want to read, I highly recommend that you read the documentation because it's really good. Like it shows that they have a whole team reading documentation and things like that. But the thing that we're gonna do is grabbing the basic information. So also for the people that is watching this video, I will kill all this. So please don't copy my IDs and my information. Do it yourself. Because I will kill this server, the service, as soon as I publish the video. So it's you're not doing anything if you are copying my um information. Create one for yourself. Okay, so these are the secrets and all the things that you need to have in your local variables in order to authenticate with Auth0. They're really good and authenticate yourself. So we're gonna go to your project. So, and to your MB file. And let's create the variables first. So it has to be Auth0 and then the name. So it's domain, and let's do a placeholder for a little. It's client ID, client secret, is not audience, is secret. And is base URL. No, it's not out base URL, it's app. The names of your variables are important because Auth0 check even those in order to authenticate yourself. So let me kill the server a little. You need to kill your server and start a new server when you are dealing with your MB files. Otherwise, the project will not recognize you. Okay, so let's do this. The domain is this domain. So copy the domain. I'm bringing here. The client ID is this client ID. That's it. The client secret is this client secret. And the app base is your local host. That's correctly. But let's put it on quotes. And the Auth0 secret is something that you need to create. You need to generate a long secret in order to have some information that is only you. But I will do that in a little. Now, the thing that you need to pass to them is your local host. So copy your local host, and that will be, so here when they allow callback URLs, you have to copy your local host /auth0/callback. So it will recognize this URL as the allow callback URL. Please don't put the final dash slant here because it will throw you an error. Just that URL. Then logout is your local host without the final slant, and the web origin is also your local host without the final. And you will see this in the documentation. It show you that you can do. And with this, you can save all your information, and that's it. Now, the secret, how you can create as a long string with a secret. There is a command for yes, this one. So you can tell your terminal that helps you to create a long string, random string. It's basically you are telling here, help me to create a random string of this long. And if you do this command, it will give you a random string. This is a string, even if it's a bunch of numbers. So you need that to your output. That's it. Now, you are set up this, and the next thing that you need to do is install the dependency that will allow you. And again, I will send all this information at the end of the session, all the links, all the hands-out documentation. So don't worry too much about seeing what is happening in my In my screen, I mark on that you understand. Okay, so the package that handle Auth0 in your code is Auth0 Next.js. So you need to go to your project in the terminal that has your project. If I do ls here, I will see my package JSON and I will see all my configuration. Here you do npm install Auth0 Next Auth0. And again, I will send all this information to you, so don't worry too much to check what is happening. And that will install the package. And you will see immediately that your package JSON changed. So now we have as dependency Auth0, which is cool. It's what we want. So that's step 2. So this step 1 is implement the variables and the configuration in the dashboard. Step 2 is install the SDK. And now what we want to do is because in the newest configuration of Auth0, Auth0 is basically a library that you can use. So we need to create that folder because we have a folder for APIs. We have a folder for components and data, but we don't have a folder for libraries. So here inside app, no, at the same moment, until you have a app, a component, and data, now we are creating a folder that is called lib, and it is for library, basically. This is just the recommendation of the tool. You don't need to call it lib, but it's best practice because it shows that you have a folder for a component, you have a folder for data, you have a folder for lib, you have a folder for an API if you need it, that kind of situation. So in the live folder, in the library folder, you want to create a new file that is Auth0. This has to be named Auth0 because we are working with JavaScript, it's Auth0 JavaScript. Now, this one is very simple. The only thing that you need to bring to this file is this. And it's basically telling the Next.js server that authenticate the client, that you will do the client, that you will use the client. That's it. That's the whole thing that you are using and creating this new const out that is an instance of this out client. That's it. That's the whole. Now, we are need to create. So what the decision that I did was that I will not show different content for people that is not authentic. Like I will not show the profile of the user. I will not show a bunch of information that I could handle with Auth0. But I will change some behavior of the app. Like I will put gate a route behind the Auth0 authentication. And for that, I need to create basically a file that handles that route that it will be behind the Auth0 authentication, because that was my decision. That route, I will need to tell the project these kind of routes are behind the authentication and this one is not. So I need to create a file here at the source level of your, I need to create a file that will be called middleware. And it's basically imagine that you are creating a middleman that will tell the project this router is not behind the Auth0, this router is behind the Auth0, this not this. That's the whole thing. So what we need to do here, we need to import Auth0, the library that we just did. That's the first. Also, we need to import something that is called next response. Um, with that, I will need to create this async function. So I need to create this path name because it's what I'm doing. I'm checking what routers are behind the Auth0. So I can do, this is way too much information. I'm requesting the URL, right? Is all that I'm doing, requesting the URL that the user is handling at this point. And then I will say all the paths that are allowed to show to the user because I don't need Auth0 for them. So it's a huge if because I basically would pull all of them. Actually, let me copy because it's a bunch of them. So what I'm gonna do is look all the path names that start with Next, with Favicon, with Sitemap, with robots, all of that don't need Auth0. You see, and it's okay. But you need to handle all the request. Is basically what I'm saying here. And in order to tell this person, this middleman that is called middleware, you need to handle all the requests. I need to pass this is basically a regex that show them all the routes that could have my project. And with that, I can sell this, and it's basically uh, done. It's basically telling the Auth0 what routers I don't need that they check. It's what I'm doing here on the middle. And it's called middleware, but it's basically it's creating a middleman that do that. Now that I have this middleman and I have Auth0, I need to tell my layout. So in your app, you have this initial page that is like your home, and the layout that handles the whole root layout is your layout. And now you need to tell, and here is where you handle metadata and all of that. And here you need to tell them that you are gonna do it's now called, this is the old syntax, now called Auth0 provider. Exactly. And it's basically something that you need to put inside the body, like this one, but you need to close it. That's the error that is telling. Yeah. And with that, you tell the whole application that we are using Auth0. Now, Now is moment of creating the behavior that I wanted. And that will happen in the navbar because basically I will tell the navbar, hey, um, don't show the subscribe button if they are not authentic. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna convert the navbar in a client because we are asking something the user. So that's a good indication that it needs to be now and we will use user that is a hook. It's a React hook that the Next.js will give us. And basically it allowed us to create the hook. We are not using just user, we are gonna use is loading too. And it's basically bringing this information to the user immediately, from the user immediately. It handle, this is the thing that I tell you that it handle all for you. They convert everything to those hooks that you just need to use initialize with user. And look, it tells you what all the information that brings. It's a huge amount of code that you don't need to do. Now, I want to see like links. So the only one that I need to grab is the subscribe. So I will do here, if there is a user, let me copy the code. Because we need to use basically a bunch of if else statement. So what I did here is, this is a comment. Here, this is a comment. And I'm here telling if there is a user, show the subscribe button, the link for this. If there is no user, it means that it's loading. Show the login or the logout button. And that is the whole behavior that I wanted. That was my whole point. Um, Now, in order to make it really, really work, we need to also tell the subscribe page, hey, you need to change your behavior if the user is not subscribed. So what we're gonna do is we are import Auth0 and we import redirect. There is also a hook that they gave us. So in my component on subscribe page, I will say, check that you have a session. It means that check that the user is authentic. If there is no session, please send it to authenticate. And the rest is whatever it is. I Let me put here the old drive component. I can insert here inside the authentication, inside the project. That's it. That's the whole thing. Sorry about my dog. Um, yeah, and that's it. That's how you also protect your content. Um, you don't need to do this one even if you don't need it. Um, s- I don't want to say nothing to the user. Just kind of the decisions that you can take as a developer, which is cool. Um, okay, let's test if this wrong. In run dev. Let's look my local. Um, uh, this is not client. Yeah, have this error before. So this not bar. This is from Auth0 without the client. That was my error. In the old documentation, you have to start the server for the beginning. The old documentation, there was a that come from the client. Um, where else I using in the layout too? Yeah, that's my it's the old that's the only problem around Auth0. They change the documentation pretty much all the time. So in the old documentation, it was in Auth0, there's now it's working. The new documentation is without client because now the package handle that all of that route for you. Uh, but that's it. That was the mistake. It is okay. Um, so now we have the blog, and look, because I am not subscribed, I haven't authenticated. I see the login button. I don't see the subscribe button, which is super cool. And how much code I did put, and then I log in, and I have a 404. Ah, cool. Let me see where is uh it is in my library. There is from my library. Where are the okay, mira. No, it's from mira where yes, here. I need to pass all my variables. Um so I forget to authenticate myself. That was my um okay, let's double check the malware. Let me restart the server. all these changes. You need to restart the server. So here I am, localhost. That's it. And now if I do login, why are you getting caught on that? Let me check, double check what I'm doing with the official documentation. Um, double check the middleware that I have. Um, check that I put it here in the official documentation. Callback URLs are, oh, it's not Auth0, it's out callback. Okay, that was my mistake. Logout and web origins are only local host. The variable's name um just double checking the names and everything that I did so I don't have an error. So is out domain, out client ID, out client secret, out secret, and 8x0. Okay, should will work. Let's try again. In from there. Okay, the local host is working. And now if I do log in, oh, I didn't save this thing. That error in the middle where it's my middle now. The Auth0 library. Uh, make a mistake in the name of this field. It needs to call out 0. Yes. That's the thing with Auth0. You have to call and everything has to be the name that it is. Let me double check the name of this. Has to be 0. Okay. Subscribe. More for a moment while I put in the subscribe. Just to see where is the error. So what I did here is removing the session just to check where is the error. Start the server again. It's running. So it's compiling the middleware. Where is it telling me? Um, let's check out that the middleware is grabbing the Auth0 from the library. But it is. That's the route. So that's cool. And it's getting in all these console logs. You see here. So it's checking all these console logs. It's handling this. And it's telling it that it's running. So if I do login, why are you giving me this error? Let me double check. Let's see. Let's see if Copilot tells us what is the error. Um, Cool. Um, so let me kill the server for a minute so it will change. Let's see what it did. It created the request with the URL and the path name. Um, yeah, and now it's telling me that I need to restart the server. And from that, okay, now if I do log in, no, still have that error. Doesn't make any sense. I have this one working. I think I did something wrong with the basics. Let's see the documentation for the other application. Pretty sure I made a mistake here. Um, so ID, blah blah blah. Post. Okay, so this a little of CSS. Where is the error or the section? And then we copy the MB files. Make sure that I don't have an error in the name of the variables. Auth0 domain. Auth0 domain. Client ID. Client ID. Auth0 client secret. Auth0 secret. Auth0 client secret. 0 secret, zero secret, and it is right. Okay, so that is working, and my tip is this one. To the server. My library. At the source level. Yep, here are my library without zero. Okay, I think that should work. And run that. Let's check initial and it's middleware running. It's telling me that I'm missing the client ID. Check my client ID. Variable. Auth0 client ID. Oh, that was an error in that name, right? Oh, look at that. I was using a O, not zero. Ah, that was the mistake. So it's Auth0 and zero, no O. Um, no, because I need to run dev. There is a great thing to check and to tell you that you need to read the error message. Nowadays, the error message are super um, informative. I remember the times where error messages are like, you have an error. Oh, yeah, cool. It doesn't tell me. And now it's working. And now we see the how to connect with Auth0 and also all of this without the 4 lines of code. And now I see the subscribe form and I can subscribe or I can log out. Yay, it works. Now, once this is working, what I really want to do is deploy this to Vercel. So there is a bunch of things that we need to do in order to do that. The first one is that we need to put all our code in GitHub because Vercel will connect directly to GitHub. So I told my server for a minute and I will do git status. It tells me everything that is new. So I will put all of that And with that, I can do git push. And all of this, go to my GitHub. And once you have all your information in your GitHub, um, here, then you can deploy to Vercel. So what do you need to do to deploy for Vercel? You need to go to Vercel also. And then log in. I log in with Google. Another problem. I don't remember what I did to log in. I think so. Okay, so yeah. And then it will tell you these projects where you have. Probably will have this also empty. I have a bunch of projects with Vercel. You want to create a new project with them and then connect it with your GitHub. Um, what is the next? Next, I need to adjust the permissions to see is that I don't usually allow that person see all my um repos. Um, so I want that the next is second core. Oh, and then there, and then I need to do save here. And with that, you need to see it and can import it. Let's do blog or two, which is a better name for the project. Now here is the trick. You need to pass all your variables to this. All of them. So it's a bunch of them, and the tricky thing is that you need to take each one of them. So I need to paste this one, like variable by variable. Let's see if I can do this side by side. Kind of. Um, this is the only thing that you handle like manually. But um, is for your security, and the other thing is the only thing that you need to do. Really, the rest of the process, Vercel will handle for you. So ID, ID, uh, telephone name, oops. I don't need this one. That was just checking. Um, the main, client ID, secret, what secret. Now, as you can imagine, this add base will change when Vercel gave us um, a URL. So we don't need to put this one here, but we'll need to change that on um, Auth0 when they gave us one. So see, I don't, and the only thing rest that I need to do is do deploy, and Vercel will do this for me under the hook, out of the box, and I don't need to do anything, and it will tell you here what it's doing. So you can see the logs and check what is happening with your project, and it's basically telling you everything that and look, it creates the production build for you. Um, in the past, you have to create this build yourself and then uh, deploy it on a service. And that's the reason some developers in the community will tell you that Vercel is actually taking functionality for you. Um, but man, look at how you don't need to do anything. It's super great to use. And that's it. The project is live. Um, and you can see it. It tells you, it gives you a whole developer and a show developer. And now the thing is that we need to change, we need to use this one to ourselves, to Auth0, because now this will be the all this. So basically out callback. Uh, Vercel without the latest, the last slash again. So you will recognize that's it. And then I think the blog is working, the home is working, and I think this will work. Nope. um, we need to add to the deployment configuration. We need to add that upload base environment variables. What's the name of that? Add base URL, base URL, and now we add the Vercel without the latest. And this will tell you if you add a variable, you need to redeploy. Does everything for you. It's an amazing tool. So wait a minute while it's doing the deploy. is ready. So we can go to this one and log in. And now, oh, well, I did something, but now it recognized that we have that app. Uh, Read this one for a minute. It's Auth0 code. Okay, so let's see. Um, mm, it's here. The error. Let me let me see how to fix this one. Um, this is my URL. In cloud. What I did wrong on this one. Okay, this is working now. In Vercel, in my variables. What was it? Um, Settings. Variables. In the right place. Otherwise, or I need to see this one exactly. In this one, I need to Bring variables. Paste URL. It should work. Let's do. Let's save this. Okay, I promise to check what is happening here with the callback. But basically, this is how you handle the. Okay, let's see if this works. No, it doesn't. I mean, the rest, not in my app. That that do everything that you need to do about my error. I haven't. I was in the wrong project. Um, yep. Okay. So now it will work because I just put it the right plugin. And that's it. I was configuring another project. Um, don't do that. Um, that's the main lesson here. And now I can see the subscribe and everything works. Thank you so much for being patient and for helping me to debugging this. I was clearly authorized another project. But that's it. With that, we have a final project on Vercel, and we have Auth0 Authenticate. We connect with Airtable. And thank you so much for being with me in all this section and spend the Saturdays with me, your August Saturdays with me. And as always, I will send all this material to you. So don't worry too much of following and watching me debugging things. I I will send all of this to you. Thank you so much. Bye. Let me stop sharing my screen. Bye.